What is good, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undiluted Football Show. We are back. It's been a long time, but we are back. Nevertheless, we've got a load of Premier League action to talk about. You know, we had an international break, the FA Cups weekends next week, so we might as well talk about the Premier League. First and foremost, we'll start with the title race decider because the title race has still not been decided. Man City and Liverpool drew 2-2 in the end. And put it this way, especially as a neutral and a neutral of the game in which I support Man United and I hate both teams. What a game of football. Just the attacking display of both teams. We all thought City at home, they'll deal with them, but Liverpool came answering, scores of good goals as well. And it just showed the gap between Man City, Liverpool, and the rest. Like I saw one tweet today say, "Oh, Arsenal are a couple of years away from Man City, Liverpool. Fully fit Chelsea side are not as good as Liverpool now." These two teams are ridiculous, and credit to Klopp and Pep, who have come in and just completely transformed teams. Because if you look at that City team, yeah, they won the title, but he inherited a Mangala in there, man. No offense to Eliquia Mangala, football manager legend, but he invested not a good team. And, you know, obviously Pep with all the money he had, he identified players he wanted and done it accordingly. Klopp as well. Klopp done it with a lower budget and has a European trophy to show for it. So, listen, these two teams are ridiculous. In regards to the title race, I think that result favours Man City because they are 1 point ahead. And also, Man City's running is much easier than Liverpool's. I know Liverpool still have United to play. I know it's United, but United's, well, I don't know. Maybe Brighton's easier to play than United at the moment, but that's still a rivalry game to an extent. Liverpool still have Tottenham to play, an informed Tottenham side, and still have a Merseyside derby as well, who Everton are going to be fighting for their lives. So Liverpool do have the harder running. Not to say that they could easily, comfortably win all of those games, but at the same time, it's an easier run into City. City don't have that many big games left. So it is City's title to lose. It still is City's title to lose. I know they were like 14 points ahead in January, so they should win the title. But nevertheless, take nothing away from two sides. They are ridiculous, and especially as a Man United fan, I'm very envious of both teams, and it makes me look and think, oh, maybe I want to be like those teams. But anyway, I digress. Let's get on to other things in the Prem, because, you know, other than Man City and Liverpool, other stuff has happened. The race for top four. Spurs is a little resurgence under Antonio Conte. You know, Spurs went on a bad run when they lost to like Burnley, and well, United was there as well. And I think they lost 4 of their 5, and now they've won 4 on the trot now. But I was looking at it, this Spurs side score goals. Like under Antonio Conte, they score goals. Whether they lose or not, they score a lot of goals. I think it's 19 goals in their last 5 Premier League games, so which is pretty ridiculous, if you say so myself. So that front three of Kulusevski, Kane and Son, ridiculous. You know what I did say, and I think I did say on this show, that Kulusevski and Bentancur are 2 good signings, just because that makes Tottenham better. I'm not saying like they're going to be world beaters and world class strikers. Kulusevski's got a bit of potential, like he's still only 21, but take nothing away from Tottenham. It's now theirs to lose. They have their 3 points ahead of Arsenal. I think level in points for Arsenal, but Arsenal's got the game in hand, which is Chelsea. So who knows? But take nothing away from Spurs, because it was looking pretty dire at a certain time with Antonio Conte, but now it's looking pretty good for Spurs, and it looks like Spurs are going to get that top 4 spot. And I'm saying it now, if Spurs get top 4, Harry Kane is staying, because really and truly, where does he go? He's not going to go to City. I don't think City are going to pay the money for him. United are not going to pay the money for him, and that's literally the only places he can go, considering his age, his injury problems, and the money that Levy and Tottenham will expect. So if Conte stays and Spurs get top 4, Conte's going to get backed by the board, because he's done what he came and delivered. He's coming in November and got them top 4. Kane will stay, and they'll build around Kane, and Spurs will be a good side again. They'll be a good side that, I won't say they'll compete in the Champions League, but they'll be a good side under Antonio Conte. And they are. I feel like they're very good in transition. A lot of their goals yesterday against Aston Villa were in transition. Now, I'm not sure how they fare against the low block just yet, but Don't know why Gerrard tried to play football against Spurs, like Spurs don't have better players than them. Nevertheless, let's not take anything away from Spurs. They done what they needed to do. On to the other side of London in Southwest and SW6, Chelsea, after back-to-back losses to Brentford and Real Madrid, two contrasting teams, decided to slap Southampton 6-0, which is a good result for them, I guess. You know, Mason Mount got a brace, Timo Werner back on the score sheet with a brace, Marcus Alonso and Havertz with the goals. It's a bit of confidence going into the Real Madrid game. Thomas Tuchel said that, like, he can, because he was berating the players saying they were playing terrible against Real Madrid, and then if you want to bounce back, a 6-0 win away from home is a great way to bounce back. So it's good in that sense for Chelsea. Do I see them beating Real Madrid? No, I feel like that tie's done, and especially that third goal helped. But don't take anything away from Chelsea. They didn't play too badly against Madrid. They had chances, and they just didn't take them away. But it's just that third goal could pay the difference. I don't think they'll dare, because it's very hard to come back from a 2-0 deficit at home, going away into a Champions League tie. And I don't think only one club has done that, has lost by 2 goals at home and then gone away into a Champions League tie. And guess who that club was? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Reds. Anyway, I digress. Let's take nothing away from Chelsea's win. A good win for Chelsea. They're not going to be in the top 4 race. I feel like third is solidified for them. Arsenal's not going to chase them. Spurs are not going to chase them. Chelsea have got third. It's literally just a race for top 4, and that's about it. Nevertheless, let's get on to the other people in this top 4 race. Arsenal. Now, I always said it with Arsenal. I wasn't convinced. Everyone was saying they're favourites for top 4, blah, 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 blah. But Arsenal and Arteta do this all the time. They go on a purple patch. They play horrible. They go on a purple patch, and then they're like, oh my gosh, yes, Arteta. Yes, he is the saviour, blah, 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 blah. And I did say in January, do I see Arsenal making top 4? I said no, because I don't know how you can get top 4 with Lacazette as your striker, Lacazette and Nketiah as your strikers. I know Aubameyang was not part of his plans, and I respect Arteta's decision to do that, because I feel like that's something Man United need to do, just get rid of the bad eggs in the club. However, they're scarce, especially with injuries now. With injuries to Tierney, Partey was out. You're playing Xhaka left back, and you look scarce. So really and truly, they only have themselves to blame. They could have got a couple signings in January if they wanted to, but I digress. It's Arsenal. People, another thing as well, I know Alan Hansen famously said it, you can't win anything with kids, and Man United did that, but it is very hard to win stuff with kids. This is an inexperienced Arsenal squad who will get better eventually, and for years to come, I feel like they will be a good side again. They've got some good youngsters, and it is a learning curve for them. However, it's a young and inexperienced squad without a main striker or a striker that can't score goals. That doesn't scream top 4 to me. Like, that's just not viable. It's just not a viable option to have. So really and truly, I don't blame Arsenal in a sense that it's kind of their fault. It is kind of their fault, because they did blow like a 2-game hand lead, or how many points they were above United or Spurs. But back-to-back losses to Brighton and Palace, teams you should be beating, you only have yourselves to blame, I guess. But yeah, that's Arsenal. I feel like, listen, and this is nothing to be bad for, nothing to be angry about with Arsenal fans, because I know top 4 was in your grasp, blah, 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 but you got to be realistic. You can't just jump from no Europe to top 4 with a squad like that. Go into the Europa, win a European trophy. Arsenal have only won a Cup Winners' Cup, if I remember correctly. Go win the Europa League. There's nothing wrong with Arsenal winning the Europa League, considering they've never won the Champions League. You might as well go build a winning culture, go into an easier competition. Because if they get into the Champions League, round of 16 is their maximum. Is that Arsenal team's maximum, round of 16. And that's even if they make out their group stages, round of 16. So would you rather go out in the round of 16, or would you rather go deep into a European competition in which probably you are one of the favourites? You might as well do it. So, and I think it's a good learning curve for youngsters, man. The Europa League is not an easy competition to win, as United showed you. Like, yes, they won in 2017, but they lost the final last season. And it wasn't an easy, we didn't have an easy run in. We had to play teams like AC Milan. Who do we have? We had Villarreal in the final. We had AS Roma, like good enough teams that, that could do a job against teams like Arsenal. So it is a competition in which they should try and go for. Last but not least, talking about top four, we'll quickly mention West Ham. I feel like West Ham lost to Brentford 2-0 today. I feel like their focus is on the Europa League. If they want to get Champions League football, they're not really in the top four race anymore. They might as well just go and try and win the Europa League. They've got a massive tie against Lyon on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. But nevertheless, Man United. Where do I start, especially as a Man United fan? It was annoying that when Everton played Burnley during the week and they lost, I said it straight away. I said Everton are going to beat Man United. And not because Everton are a better team than Man United, not because Everton players are better than Man United, not because Everton have a better manager than Man United. It's just because after that loss at Goodison Park, they're going to want it more. And you could see yesterday that half of the Man United is just in a rut now, in a sense that it's annoying because people around us are losing. If Arsenal were winning, and I know Spurs are winning, but if Arsenal were winning, I wouldn't be too mad at this because I really want Champions League football. I can't do Thursday nights again. That's just me being spoiled. I just can't do Thursday nights again. But it's going to look like that because the players just don't want Champions League football. Ralph Rangnick came out and said it. If they're going to be playing like this, they don't deserve to have Champions League football. I'd rather Arsenal and Spurs keep winning so we're just out of the race completely. Because now we're only 6 points away from Tottenham. And I doubt Tottenham is going to win every single game in the rest of the season. But still, even if they win all of their remaining games, Man United still need to capitalise on that, in which that is something I don't think Man United can do. So we are practically out of the race, but it's still mathematically possible. But this is the thing with Man United. A lot of players just don't want to be there. And you honestly just have to throw the club in rice and start it again. Erik ten Hag is going to be the manager. It's not going to be anyone else. It won't be announced officially until the end of Ajax season because they're in a title race and they've got a cup final to go as well. They've even banned English media now from speaking at Ajax games. So read into that what you will. United just need to go with a plan. You just need to look at the model of City and, dare I say it, City and Liverpool, of getting a good manager, getting a style of football they want to play, and buying players according to that style of football. I can't stress this enough because that squad is just full of some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's players, some of Mourinho's players, and in which that these managers didn't sign them according to their style of football. They just signed them for their player profile, and it just doesn't mix. Like, at least Klopp, when he signs players, we all knew Luis Diaz, direct winger. We saw it at Porto. We said under that Klopp system, he's gonna cook because that's exactly the player Klopp wants. They look at the player, they scout them properly, and that's what Man United needs to do. Man United's recruitment is horrible recruitment. If you're buying Harry Maguire for 80 million, and this is no disrespect to Harry Maguire or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it's not their fault they got signed for the price tag that they are. It's just poor recruitment from Man United, and we were desperate at the time, so it is what it is. But it's just poor recruitment because you're looking at the modern day fullback, and that's not Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You're looking at a Man United captain, and that's not Harry Maguire. So this is, if Man United want to succeed again and be the Man United that they should be, it's going to take 2 or 3 windows minimum. You're going to have to give the keys to Erik ten Hag and let him cook. And by that, I mean, give him the keys. Let him look at the squad and say, like, I don't care who you are. I don't even care if you're the highest paid player. If you don't fit my system, get out of the club. Get out. For your own benefit, because it's not going to work in my system. And the thing is, people want to blame Ralph Rangnick I feel like outsiders looking in want to blame Ralph Rangnick for what's going on. Ralph Rangnick knows that these players are not it. He tried to play counter-pressing football, and the players can't even do that. They're not even fit enough to press, or they don't want to press. And I'm sorry, if there's players that don't want to play for Man United, you know where the door is. And I get it. They get paid a lot of money to play especially at Man United. They get overpaid to play a lot of money, so why would they leave? But if you really want to play football, go play football somewhere else, because really and truly, these, like, the way United lost it, you could see so many players just didn't want to be there. And we have so many players at the club leaving and running down their contracts next season. And a lot of players just don't want to be there. And really and truly, I don't blame them. Like, if you don't want to be there, please leave. Please leave for the benefit of both us and the club. So the plan is get Ten Hag in, let him have the final say on who he wants, because Ten Hag is a manager that, as we've seen at Ajax, has brought to his according to his needs. Like we thought, oh, Sebastian Haller didn't have a good time at West Ham. West Ham bought him for 40 million and then sold him for 20. But he's cooking in Ajax, cooking in the Champions League for Ajax. So it's not like he's a bad player. Ten Hag saw his profile and he said, that's exactly what I need. People like Dusan Tadic got him from Southampton, looks 10 times the player he was at Southampton. Anthony as well got him from South America, one of Europe's hottest talents at the moment. Look, he bought Daley Blind from us. Daley Blind was a good player for Man United, a versatile player as well, but he's one of Ajax's main focal points right now. And this is a good team that plays well in the Champions League, won six out of 6 group stage games. Obviously, they went out to Benfica in the round of 16, which wasn't great, but nevertheless, if Erik Ten Hag can do that with an Ajax, I'd imagine what he could do with more money with Man United. He's a good manager. Give him the keys, let him cook. 2 free transfer windows is going to take, honestly. And even if it takes longer than that, I'm fine, because at least I know if Erik Ten Hag's my manager, I know week in, week out what style of football we're going to play. I don't know. We have, our next game is Norwich at home, and then we have Liverpool. I pray that we beat Norwich, but I don't know how we're going to play. I know what formation we're going to play, because at least Rangnick has a formation and wants them to start playing in a 4-3-3 and getting used to it. But we don't have anyone to fit that mold of formation. We don't have the players don't press. They just sit off. Like Everton ran 10 kilometers more than Man United. That's a team that wanted it more. Now, I'm not saying running means everything, but a team should not outwork you. If United tried to play with the intensity City and Liverpool played today, they would be having a water break by like 7 minutes in. So Ten Hag, and what I like about Ten Hag as well is that he likes youth. Obviously, that's a big thing with Man United. You know, we've had at least a player from Carrington in our matchday squad since like 1892 or something ridiculous like that. So, and we've got a lot of good, at least United's good in that sense, is that we've got a lot of youngsters, a lot of good youngsters. You know, we've got people like Ahmad and Palestri coming back. Hannibal's a good one. Alejandro Garnacho, who's probably still too young, but that's an upcoming talent. Shola Shoretire. James Garner, who's having a decent loan at Nottingham Forest. Alvaro Fernandez, who's a good fullback. Ethan Laird, who's been in the Championship, who's players that, you know what, under Ralph Rangnick, I can expect to cook, because they're decent players, and under a good system, they will look better. Under a good coach, they will look better. So get all these players out. The players that don't want to be there, get them out. Bring in the youth. I think we should play. I think the season's done now. I think we should really play the youth. There's no point of playing people that don't want to be there. People like Jesse Lingard hasn't made an appearance under Rangnick, I don't think, or he's made one or a couple. But he doesn't come on because, 1, he doesn't want to be there, and 2, we only kept him because of the Mason Greenwood situation. So it's just a matter of get the youth in, get the players you want, Ten Hag, and you'll see a much better. I guarantee it. If we let Ten Hag have the final saying on signings, and let him do what he done at Ajax, and let him do it in a bigger platform and a better facility. Well, I say better facilities, probably not. But I say better infrastructure, probably not. Let's just say a better club profile than Ajax. If that, we'll let Ten Hag cook. But until then, Man United are just going to be in the mud. But listen, that's all we got time for. Thank you for another episode. Thank you for watching another episode of the Undiluted Football Show. You can follow me on my personal at Toni Afoke. Follow Undiluted Media on Twitter at Undiluted Media 1 on Twitter and Instagram. And last but not least, that's all we got time for. Until next time, people.